So your business is growing, which is awesome. But are you trying to keep up with all the technical demands from your biggest trading partners? If you've ever felt that squeeze from compliance deadlines and ridiculously complex data formats, I'm here to tell you, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to dive into a solution that saves thousands of businesses a ton of time, money, and headaches: EDI Outsourcing. So let's just imagine for a second, you did it. You landed the deal of the year, a massive new retail account. This is huge. But then you read the contract's fine print. They need you to be fully EDI compliant before a single order gets placed. And the kicker? The deadline is just weeks away.
And that's when the panic starts to creep in, right? You don't have any specialized software just lying around. You certainly don't have an in-house EDI team on standby. And you have absolutely, positively no time to build any of this from the ground up. Yeah, it's pretty much a classic business nightmare.
But here is the really good news. You are so not the first person to hit this wall. Not by a long shot. Literally thousands of businesses face this exact problem and solve it every single day with a proven, powerful strategy: EDI outsourcing.
So, you ready to figure out if this is the right move for you? Okay, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll break down what EDI outsourcing even is. Then, we'll help you figure out if it's a good fit. We'll do a head-to-head comparison, talk about picking the right partner, and wrap it all up with the key benefits. By the end, you'll know exactly what you need to do.
All right, let's start with the basics. What in the world are we actually talking about when we use terms like EDI outsourcing or managed EDI? Let's demystify this.
Honestly, it's pretty simple. EDI outsourcing means you hand over the entire headache to a specialist. It means you're not buying any complex software, you're not building out any servers or infrastructure, and you're definitely not trying to become an expert on every single one of your trading partner's compliance rules. Nope. A third-party provider just handles all of it for you.
And the amount of stuff that gets taken off your plate is, well, it's massive. Your provider basically becomes your new EDI department. They're handling everything: sending and receiving your orders and invoices, managing all those unique partner connections and maps, translating all the different data formats so your systems can actually talk to their systems. They maintain all the tech. And get this, they even automate things like converting faxes to EDI for those partners who are still, let's just say, a little behind the times. It's the whole shebang.
Okay, here is a super simple way to think about it. Payroll. Every business has to do it. Now, you could buy the software, hire a specialist, and try to keep up with all the tax law changes yourself, but who does that? It's a huge pain, and it takes focus away from what your business actually does, which is exactly why pretty much everyone uses a professional payroll service.
And boom, it is the exact same logic with EDI. It's a super specialized, non-core part of your business that's almost always going to be handled better, cheaper, and safer by a team of dedicated experts. You get to focus on what you do best, and they handle the rest.
Okay, so the big question is, how do you know if this is the right move for your business? Well, let's walk through 8 common business profiles that are a perfect fit for this. See if you recognize yourself in any of these.
So, is this you? Maybe you're a seasonal business, and paying for a full-time EDI setup just seems crazy. Or you're trying to dodge that massive upfront cost for software. Maybe you are that exact supplier we talked about, needing to get compliant like yesterday. Or maybe, just maybe, your team is completely slammed and cannot take on one more complex project. If you're nodding along right now, outsourcing is very likely your best path forward.
The common thread running through all of these different scenarios is really simple. It's this one big idea. You need to be EDI compliant, for sure, but you can't let the process of managing EDI become your entire business. You've got to stay focused on what actually brings in the revenue. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Now we're going to put the two models side by side and really look at the business case for each one. This is the head-to-head showdown.
This table really just says it all, doesn't it? If you go in-house, everything, and I mean everything, is on you. You build it, you own it, you maintain it. You buy the crazy expensive software licenses. You have to somehow find and hire these rare, very costly EDI specialists. But with outsourcing, bam, you get enterprise-grade systems on day one. Instead of one person, you get a whole team of experts. And just look at the cost model. You go from a giant upfront capital investment to a predictable, pay-as-you-go operating expense. It completely frees up your people and your money to work on more strategic projects.
So, let's say you're convinced. You're thinking, okay, outsourcing makes sense. That is a huge step. But now comes an equally important one, because you've got to choose the right partner. And trust me, they are not all created equal.
To make sure you get this right, use this 5-point checklist. First, pricing. Look for flexibility and transparency. Ask them straight up, are there hidden fees? What about setup costs? Second, security. Don't just take their word for it. Ask for proof, like a SOC 2 report, which is a big deal. It's an independent audit of their security. Third, support. Can you talk to a real human 24/7 when something goes wrong? Fourth, integration. How easily can they plug into your ERP? And how fast can they onboard new partners? And finally, number 5, industry experience. Do they know your business? Even better, are they already connected to your major partners? Because that can shrink your setup time from months down to days.
Okay, let's bring this all home and focus on the outcome. What are the actual, concrete, bottom-line benefits you can expect when you make this move? What's the real payoff?
Believe it or not, we've identified over 20 distinct business benefits from doing this. Now, that's a lot, so to make it simple, we can group them into 2 main categories: the immediate financial and operational wins, and the long-term strategic advantages.
First, you're going to see financial and operational wins almost right away. Your IT costs drop significantly. Those costly, painful data entry errors, they just disappear. No more chargebacks. Your cash flow improves because the whole order-to-payment cycle is automated and faster. And your team is suddenly freed up from all this manual work, and you can finally sleep at night knowing you are 100% compliant.
But beyond those immediate savings, you get something even more valuable: strategic power. This is what we call business agility. It means you can say yes to a new opportunity with a huge retailer without it turning into a 6-month IT project. It means your EDI capabilities can scale with you as you grow, and you'll always have the latest, most secure technology without ever having to invest a single dollar on it yourself. You're basically future-proofing your business.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. This decision isn't just about subtracting a problem or cutting a cost. It's about what you get to add back into your business. If you could take all the time, all the money, and all the focus you would have spent worrying about EDI and reinvest it, what would you build next? What new product could you launch? What new market could you go after? That's the real potential that outsourcing unlocks.